everybody. Happy Wednesday afternoon. So Tim will be here in a little bit. We got a big shipment of machines in, so he's out working with the boxes out in the front. So he'll come and talk to you in a minute after we talk about what we're going to do today. So we're going to do some couching today, and the couching was part of the actually the first upgrade to the Luminaire, and then the new Luminaire, the new upgrade, has another couching thing in it. So and it's got letters, so I think it'll be really cool. And so I thought, well, we'll show the first part of it first, and then we'll look at the new features in upgrade 3. But this one was in the first upgrade, and the machine's been able to couch for a while. Hello. Hi, Judy. So the machine's been able to couch for a while, and they did couching with like the walking foot and a special couching, foot attachment that went on the walking foot or the digital dual feed. And the Dream Machine could do it too. But this is actually the embroidered couching, and it is really neat. And it's very easy. You get a special foot. So depending on which machine you have, I'll go ahead and turn the banner off too, just a second here. So depending on which machine you have, if you have the brand new machine and the Luminaire 2, you'll actually have the foot would have come with it. So there's a special foot, and I think it's the Y foot. I think it's Y is the letter that's on this one. Yeah, Y. Second here, won't let me go to comments. There we go. So this is the foot, and this would have come with the Luminaire 2 or the upgrade, and it also comes with the Luminaire 3. So there is a special foot for this. And it has like a little tail over here that holds the yarn for you. And so anyway, so this was in the upgrade for those of us that have Luminaire 1s. This came in the box with the upgrade. So this is the Y foot. So we're going to be using this today. And I'm also going to show you how to set it up, because you have to do a little adjustment with it to get it going. And then there are a couple of these little yarn guide things that slide in the side of the machine. And I'll show you about these. There's 2 of them that came with the machine or in the upgrade. One is straight, and we want the straight one for the embroidered couching. And then there's one that's kind of curved like this. That's for the sewn couching. So we want the straight one. Okay. So there's a couple pieces of equipment, your foot and the little yarn guide thing. Okay. And then of course you're going to need some yarn. And then the other little thing that came with the upgrade or with the machine, and I don't know if you can see this very well. It was easier for me to show you on this camera. There's it's like a little threader. So you have to use this to get the yarn down through your foot. Let me take this out of here. I don't want to lose the little bag. So it's like a little metal threader, like a little needle threader kind of. And you need this too to get the yarn through your foot. Okay, so that's the 3 little things we'll need for the couching. So it is really cool, and it's very simple to do. I was kind of intimidated, and I started looking at the foot and everything, and it's like, oh, it's so easy. So I'm just going to turn the camera over here. So Tim will come and talk to you in a little while. And then we're going to have a drawing for people that were here last week that shared, commented, and posted. So I'm going to go ahead and shared, commented, and what's the other thing? I always forget. So anyway, we have an update. We have a drawing for later. So it's over here, and he'll do that at the end. Okay. So, and what I did is I printed off the instructions for this out of the upgrade number 1. So this is actually, and these are good. All these instructions are actually in the newer manual, but I happen to have the upgrade. So that's what I did for mine, is I just printed off the upgrade. So I'll show you. Okay. So let me switch the camera over here, and we'll do some couching. It's going to be fun. they turn out really cool. I did do a couple samples. Let me show you those on this camera first. It's easier. So I made this one, the butterfly with the yellow yarn. And that one's pretty intricate. I just did this on a piece of cotton fabric. It's just muslin with, and I had yellow yarn. Thought that was real pretty. But there's like 40 designs in the machine. So there's a bunch of really cute ones. And that one, and then I did this one with the roses, with flowers. And I had some pink yarn for that one. And you kind of want to use, we'll talk about the yarns when I get it turned down, but I wanted to show you a couple samples. But it was really fun to do and very easy. So, okay. So let me put the camera over here and let's do some couching. This will be fun. All right, let's see here. Got to get the camera and the microphone. Okay, so hopefully everybody can still hear me. So does this all come with the upgrade or with the new machine? Okay, so Jan, the stuff that you're seeing right now, this actually was in the first upgrade for the machine. So if you have an XP2 or the new XP3, all of it comes with the machine. If you had an XP1 and got the first upgrade, it came with your upgrade stuff. Okay. So like I have an XP1, so this stuff all came in a box with my upgrade that I bought. So this was an upgrade number 1 for the XP1. Okay, so if you have that upgrade, which I believe you do, then these would have been in a separate box that would have come with that upgrade. Okay. All right, so the one thing, okay, so I've got these instructions. These were from, let me pull these so you can see these a little bit better. This was the instructions that I printed off for the upgrade kit number 1 for my Luminaire. And I already had these printed out at home. Okay, I have a 1 upgraded to a 2. Okay, so yes, so you would have had this then. Okay. So the first thing that I thought was real cool, there's several other things in here, but we're just going to talk about the embroidered couching. Okay. So what I thought was really neat is they put a video on the machine about the couching. So I wanted to show you where that is if you wanted to watch this. And it also shows the foot adjustment. You might be able to see it a little bit better on the video than with the camera. So the videos are up here where it looks like a film strip with a little question mark. And then it says video down here on the screen. And then it's in embroidery 1 tab. And then down here at the bottom is the couching, and it's right here. And then the little video will start playing. And it's going to show how to bring up the design. And there's no sound in them, but it'll show you how to bring up a design, and it'll show you how to adjust the foot and all that stuff. So that is right on the machine in the video section. So if you need to refer back to something, or you can come back to this video and just watch it again. But there is something right on the machine, which I thought was cool. Okay, so I wanted to make sure you knew that was there. All right, so we'll close that. It was there in the videos, and I'll return and close. Okay, so that is in the video section. Okay, now what you need to do the couching, of course, is let's look at this stuff again here. I'll bring this down here so you can look at it. We need to have just regular bobbin thread in the bobbin, it says. So I just have my regular embroidery bobbin thread in my bobbin. You'll need some yarn. So, and they suggested worsted weight yarn, which is, you know, the 4-ply or the heavier yarn. Okay. So I just have some plain black yarn here. Okay. And then you'll need to have some thread that kind of matches your yarn, you know, so like you want some fairly matchy thread. So I've got a spool of black embroidery thread here. Okay. Then you're going to need that foot that I showed you. So this is that Y foot, and I was going to show you how to adjust it here in a minute. So this is the Y foot. So this will be the one we put on the machine. You're going to need that straight thread guide or the yarn guide. So there's 2 of them that came with it. One was straight and one was curved. And the curved one is for the sewing couching, and this is for the embroidery, the straight one. Okay, so it says EC for embroidered couching on the back. Okay. And then you'll need that little metal thing that looks like a needle threader. So we need to get our yarn through the foot of the hole in the foot. Okay. And then I'm going to use my little multifunction tool, multi-purpose tool here to adjust my foot. Or you could use a nickel. I have my nickel laying here too. Okay. So those are the things we need to do. So let's go ahead and put the foot on first. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this foot on my machine. Hopefully you can see. You have to get just a little closer. I have a hard time with the camera when it comes to seeing the screen because it doesn't fold up very well for the screen. Okay, so we're going to put the foot on, and it's just like the regular embroidery foot. You know, it has its own little shank, and it goes around with the screw. Okay, and then tighten it up just like you do your other embroidery foot. So it's very similar, you know, to the other shank or the embroidery foot. Okay. Now, when we get ready to do this, I mean, I'm going to move this camera over a little bit because I want you to be able to see a little more closely what I'm going to do with this foot. Okay. So let me get a little closer to it, and then I'll move it back maybe. All right. So this foot has a very small hole in it. And you probably can't see it very well, but it is quite visible on the video. But the first thing you need to do is it says to rotate the hand wheel and check that the needle is in the left half of the hole in the embroidery couching foot. So this foot has a rather small hole, and you want the needle to kind of be on the left-hand side of it. So not right in the middle, but just kind of to the left of middle. In order, and I've already adjusted this one because I wasn't sure if I'd be able to see it too well, but you can, there's a little screw right here on this foot, and you can turn it with your little multi-purpose screwdriver, and you can adjust it so that the needle is going down on the left-hand side of this hole right here. There's a little notch right here too, but we're looking at the hole in the foot. Okay, so the needle needs to be kind of on the left-hand side. So here's a really good picture of it, and I think it'd be easier for you to see this right here. Okay, can you see this picture right here that it shows that the needle should be going down in this little half, that half of the hole of the foot. Okay, and you just want to make sure that the needle's not going to hit your foot. You know, you don't want it to be too close, but you can see here where they have the screwdriver moving that slightly side to side. Okay, and you'll be able to see when you move the foot turn the screw towards you to move the foot to the right. So if it moves it this way, and you turn it away from you to move it to the left. So mine is already adjusted, and I use that little screw with my multi-purpose tool. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to you. And this picture that's in this book is quite good. Now, I found this upgrade information. I know it's going to be in the machine now. So if you go in your manual on your machine, let's do that so you know how to do that. There is a place in the machine here where your manual is. And if you go to, oops, it has to go to sleep here, where it says operation guide, sewing guide. Okay, so here's the operation guide. And these are the maintenance ones, but then we have a PDF version of the manual. So if we go to the PDF and the embroidery, we can actually search for couching. So if I type in couching and hit search, it will bring up the words couching and where they are. And you can go through the different pages and find the information about the couching. I just printed this off from my upgrade because I found it easy because it was already, I already had it printed, and it just had the information I needed for the couching. Okay, so this was actually up on the Brother website under my machine. So I just Googled Brother Luminaire XP1 manual, and it came right up, and then I could just print off just this upgrade manual for the couching. I just thought it'd be easier just to have a few pages than the whole manual. So, okay. So that picture is really good about how to set up your foot. Okay. So that's the first thing we have to do is we set that foot up, and you turn the screw It says toward you to move the foot to the right and away from you to turn it to the left. Okay. And you don't want your needle to hit the foot. You just need it to kind of be on the left half of the foot. Okay. So we did that. They suggested 4-ply worsted weight yarn. And they also recommended try not to run out of bobbin thread or thread to try to back up. Now it is possible to back up. I did it and I was able to get back up. It's a little tough because of the yarn being in there. But so I want to make sure that I have a full bobbin when I'm starting, or I have plenty of bobbin thread for my project. Okay, so that was the one thing that that they talked about. So the next thing is we're going to attach the spool stand. So we're going to use our spool stand up here. Whoops, get my paper up here again. So I got my foot adjusted. We're going to use our spool stand, okay, up here. And they said to leave the pole down all the way. So I've got it down all the way, and I put down one of the pins. I laid it down flat. And then what I did with my yarn is I pulled it out of, the center of my skein. So here's my skein of yarn laying here. And I pulled it out, and I pulled a whole bunch out, about as much as I thought I would need. And this is more than I'll need. And then I wrapped it around my hand, starting at the end that's going to go down into the needle, towards the needle. So I just started doing this, and I wrapped it around my hand to make a little puddle of yarn up here. And it would come off easily. Oh, was there another question? No, I think I got that question from Jan already. So I just made a little puddle of yarn here, and I laid it over my spool pin like that. And that seems to work pretty well. Then you need to put that thread guide on the machine. Now this thread guide, this long skinny one, we're going to go down here for a second. There's a couple of little holes up here on the top of the machine, and the one in the front here is where this goes. See, it has a little notch, a little post that goes in, and this just slips in that hole, and then it sets down along the edge of the machine. Now, I don't know if I can get this over far enough, but can you see this? It lays along the edge of the machine there, and there's a couple of little hooks in it where the yarn's gonna go through, okay, to hold it in place. Okay. So that's another thing we need to do. And then you can see they talk about in this upgrade, they talk about the other yarn guide, and that's the one for the sewn couching, because it's a little different angle. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the yarn in first. So let's go ahead and get the yarn set up. So I have my thread stand up here, but I do not have the guide up. It's down as low as it goes. I'm going to take my yarn and I'm going to put it through the first hook here. Can't see it too well, right there. And then I'm going to put it through the second one also, like this, so that it's traveling along the two little eyelets there. Okay. And then I'm going to bring my yarn down to the side of the machine where that yarn guide is. There's a little hook up here at the top, right here. I'm going to slip it through there. It's going to run along the outside of my yarn guide. Okay. And then there's another little hook down at the bottom, and I'm going to slip it into there so that it holds on, and it's traveling along the edge of you can kind of see it here, along the edge of that guide. Okay. And then when I get down here to where the foot is, there's a thing that's stuck out, and I don't think you're going to be able to see it. It's right behind the needle threader here. It was like a little curly cue on the foot. You might have remembered it from seeing the foot. And then this is going to go down into that little curly cue on the left-hand side of the foot right there. You can see I've got it in something. And then we're going to bring our yarn down through the top of the foot. You can kind of see the pictures here. Right here, is the picture for the yarn. So we're going to take our little threader thing, and it helps if you lay something underneath here so you don't drop this by accident down into the machine. So I'm just going to push the solid end. There's a little loop end, and a solid end. So I'm going to put the solid end down through there. I'm going to slip my yarn in here, in through the hole. See if I can get a hold of it. Whoops, a second here. I gotta find my glasses. With this black yarn. Then you put it through the hole there. And then I'm just going to pull this down through the eye of the needle like that. Try not to get it all. And you want to leave a pretty good tail at the end. So I just left a nice tail so I have plenty to hang on to. Okay. Then this little thing, I would recommend putting it back in the little paper here and maybe even in the little plastic baggie so you don't lose it. Because I almost lost it the other day on the floor. So that would be my recommendation for that, is so that you don't lose that little thing because it's important. Okay. So does that make sense for everybody, how we put that in? So we've got it up along the top here. We got our yarn on, okay? And I just have my little puddle laying on this spool pin and up and over, down through the little guide over here, down along, through the little guide on the back of the foot, back here, and then through the hole in the foot. Okay. Now we also need needle thread. So the suggestion was, I'm going to turn the page. This was actually a really good instruction sheet because it really helps. So they would suggest to go ahead and thread the upper needle, you know, thread our needle, but don't put the thread on the thread stand. Okay. So you're going to have to lay your thread down here. Okay. And if you have these mini kings, which is what I've got here, you want to make sure it's laid flat and these lay best in the machine with the big end against the base here, and take that felt thing off because sometimes it makes it bounce too much. So I never leave that felt thing on. Lay this down and then do not put a cap on here. Just leave this open like this. And then we're going to just thread the machine like normal through the needle with our matching, and I have my matching thread here that kind of matches my yarn. Okay, whoops. And it's a little hard with that guide over there to get your machine threaded because the cutter is a little hard to access, just so you know. You have to kind of use a different motion. So I'm going to put my foot down. Whoops, I have to wake up my machine here. There we go. So I'm going to put my foot down and I'm going to thread my machine. So I've just threaded the needle. Okay, so there's my needle threaded. So we've got needle thread and our yarn in there now. Okay. So, and it says for best results, use upper thread that is the same color as your yarn. Okay. So you want it to be kind of matchy-matchy. Okay. So now we have 40 patterns to choose from. Oh, you know, I forgot one thing, but I can reach it real quick when we're sewing here. Okay. So these designs are in the C area, which is for couching. Now the new ones will also be here when in the new machines, and also for those of you who are getting upgrades. So the first couching is here, and then like see here where it says kit 3, that's grayed out, that's where the new ones will be, and then there's going to be letters too. So then we'll have letters as well as all of these cute designs. So so I was kind of looking through here, and all I had was my black yarn when I first started playing with this. And I thought, what can we do with black yarn? And I thought, you know what? It's getting on to Halloween. There's an owl. So let's do a Halloween owl. And I'm going to choose the owl. Okay. So here's my owl, and he fits in a 6x10 hoop. So that's what I'm going to put in my machine today. So he's not real big. So I'm going to put my 6x10 hoop in. I'm going to hit set on the machine and embroidery. So that is a design. Now these designs are digitized a special way. So they have kind of a special kind of a connecting, it's sort of a programmable fill type motif stitch. And so it's a special one that makes the yarn stay down. So these are all digitized with a special stitch. Now I did, the Baby Lock folks did some, and this works with the Luminaire or the Solaris. Okay, so this is the Luminaire and the Solaris for those of you who have the Baby Lock. And you'll have the same designs, I believe, in the Solaris. So I'm going to put my 6x10 hoop in, but the Baby Lock gals, some of the gals did a really neat class about how to digitize their own couching stitches in PE design or palette. And so I'm going to play around with that a little bit and maybe make some of my own designs, because then we could do some custom designs. And I thought that was really cool. The other thing in this area, when when it starts to sew, after you get it all set up, you're basically just at the point of sewing. It slows the machine down, just so you know, to 350 stitches per minute. So it's going to go fairly slow in this procedure. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's sew this and see what it looks like. It is really neat to watch. And it's been real fun to play with. So I've done a few designs now, and I thought, well, gosh, I'm going to have to come up with some cool project like a pillow or something to put on my couch or something. It's just really neat. Okay. So the trick is, of course, you want to make sure you have enough bobbin thread, enough thread, and then enough yarn. Okay. Ready to go. Okay. So I'm going to hang on to this tail over here. I'm going to put my foot down. The machine has automatically gone down to 350 stitches per minute, because when you choose one of these, it automatically does that. And I'm just going to start sewing. I'm going to hit the go button, and I'm going to hang on to this yarn till it gets going. And it's going to start sewing. Now I've just got a piece of muslin in here with a piece of tearaway stabilizer on the back. And we're going to do our Halloween owl. So if you give me a second, I got to grab something because we need to do something at the end with all these little yarn tails. Now you don't have to hang on to this forever. You can just kind of get it, hang on to it till when it's close, and then I just let it hang over the machine over here. So it's okay, but I got to have a yarn needle here in a minute. I forgot to get them out of my box here. But this is couching with the embroidery machine. I just think it's so cool. Oh, cool. I bet that is really cool, Jan. So yeah, so I thought it'd be fun to do a couple of projects with these. I just need to come up with something. I don't have the upgrade yet, so I thought it'd be really cool to try the Halloween owl and then put like Happy Halloween or Hoo Hoo Halloween or something on it. So anyway, now the one thing I want to tell you too, while this is sewing, I'm going to show you up here. See, your yarn's moving up here. Watch your yarn that it doesn't get kinked up, okay? Just make sure that it doesn't get caught. You notice I have my ball of yarn sitting here, the whole thing, but it's sitting away from the hand wheel, and I've got it pulled out so that it's not coming off of this, because you need it to be very free. So I'm just kind of watching this to make sure this doesn't get tangled up here, okay? So here's our, oh look, it's starting to look like an owl. Now these designs are actually, they're kind of like embroidery, like quilting designs, because they're solid line and they are continuous line, so they don't stop. So that's the trick with these, is that they have to kind of be one continuous line the way it works. So I'm just kind of, and I'm helping my yarn feed a little bit up here. You see, I'm just kind of I just kind of pulled it so it doesn't get taut. We want it to be very free. And we're doing this. But this was really fun. I don't know why I haven't tried this, because this came in like I said, the first upgrade, which has been several years ago. And I did get to try it once at one of the events that we went to. I think Baby Lock Tech or something. But it is really fun to do. I saw a tote bag. Oh, cool. Yeah, that'd be really cool, Jan. Yeah, so you could use couching on anything. You know, they do couching on quilts. They do couching on home decorator items. There's just tons of things you could do. But I thought you would just be fascinated by watching it sew. It's just, and it all of a sudden it just takes on all this form, and it's amazing. I really enjoyed this a lot. This was fun getting ready for this. And you can see the machine's not moving very fast. And I'm just making sure that my yarn doesn't get caught. And keep your yarn really matchy. Now I did have to fix one of mine because the machine ran out of bobbin thread. Like they told me not to, you know how that works. And so how I got it to work is I was able to get a hold of the yarn, and I was able to back up, and I could pull my yarn up and I got it around the needle and it worked fine. So it's kind of hard to back up, but I did manage to get it done. So it's doing his wings. I'm just watching my yarn up here to make sure it doesn't get caught. Because I tried the couching with the sewing end also, and it was not something that, you know, was something that I thought I would do very often, but this I think I would do. This is really fun. So I like my embroidery machine. And I know people that couch with their long arms also, because it's kind of the same procedure with the long arm. So I've actually got the couching feet for my long arm. So I think I'm going to try it with my long arm too. Because I do know people do couching on their quilts. And just you want to use a pretty thick yarn. Give it a good chance to get a hold of the yarn with the thread. I didn't have any trouble with the ones I've done. Everything seemed to work really well. So it's going to come around. It's doing this tail now. But once you get your little foot all set up, you shouldn't really have to do it again. Just be careful not to hit, you know, the little screw on the side. Okay, we're getting about done. There's the end of his tail. It's going to tie off and cut. Okay, so now we've got this tail here, and I'm going to pull this down a little bit. If you try to pull up, it's real hard because it gets caught on the needle, and that's why it's hard to back up. I was able to do it by pulling it to the side and kind of towards the back, and I was able to get it pulled back so that I was able to fix my mistake I made. So I'm going to pull a little bit of this yarn out, and we're just going to trim it off. So we have these two tails down here, okay? And then we're going to pull this out. There's our owl. Isn't he cool? Doesn't he look like a Halloween owl in the black yarn? Okay, so now we gotta finish this so that we don't have this yarn sticking out here. So I just took some yarn needles, and mine happened to be blunt ended, but it still worked. So if you have one that has a little bit more of a point on it, it would be a little easier to get it through the fabric. But what I did then is I took my yarn, one end, and I'm just going to put it through my yarn needle here. The eye of my, whoops, if I can get it through there, sorry. I might have to put my glasses on with this black yarn. You have to kind of get it scrunched up so it goes through there. But you want yarn needles, you know, the ones with the great big eyes in them. I like the ones that don't have the points because then I don't stab myself with them. So, okay, so I got it through there. And then I'm going to kind of go right where the last stitches were, right here. And I'm just going to put this down through the fabric, kind of under the yarn there. And I'm just going to pull it through to the back, like that. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing with the other side. So I'm going to take the other piece and do the same thing. Gosh, I even got it in the needle that time. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of do this one just a little bit to the side of it. And you kind of hide it by going down underneath the yarn. There we go. Pull it out through the back. And see, then it makes it look all beautiful on the, okay, and it looks all beautiful on the tip. And then I'm going to turn this over. Let me get this needle out of here. Turn this over, and we'll just tie a little knot in the back, and then those yarns, those two yarn tails will. All right, and then I've got these tails on the back then, so I'm just going to take these and I'm going to just tie a little knot in the back, and then we'll trim them off. Keep them from coming out. Like that. I just tied a little square knot. And then I'm just going to clip these off fairly close, like that. And that'll be on the back. And then let's go ahead and take this out of the hoop. I don't know, that looks pretty good. So what do you think of our owl? Does he look like a Halloween owl? But see how easy that was? And then there's a whole bunch of designs on here. Like the other ones I did. I'll show the other ones to you again. But I just thought he was cool. And I thought it'd be fun with the new couching letters to put, maybe to put like who or boo or something on here with the owl for a Halloween thing. Okay, so it's really easy, and I'm surprised that I've gone all these years without doing it, but it's so simple. And then you just tie it off at the back. Okay, but the new one's going to have the letters. So let's look at some of the other designs that are in here. Let's see here. Go back to the home page under embroidery, and it's under the C, and you can see that here's where the letters are going to be right here. But there's all kinds of, there's a squirrel, there's a lot of animals. So here's a bird and a squirrel and like a deer and some leaves, flowers. There's that butterfly. There's a couple of butterflies. So here's the yellow butterfly. This is the big one that I did right here. So here's the butterfly. Thought it was pretty. I like the yellow yarn with that. I was very happy. And then there's several butterflies, so there's 3. And here's a pretty rose. But you can see that all of them, and some kind of feathers, and then there was some like mandalas. Happy Halloween, yeah, Halloween, yep, that'd be cute. And then there's some hearts and some little edgings, and let's see, some like knots. And then this one was cute. This one is I don't know if you can see it very well. Sorry, I have a little bit of a shadow here. This one's like a cake and a cup of coffee, like a dessert and a cup of coffee. And but there's 40 designs in the machine. And then they're going to add the letters in this other one. So I thought that was really cool. And the kit 3 is still gray here, so I can't show you the letters, but it's going to be, I think they're all capital letters, I think. So I have to look at it, but that's going to be in upgrade 3. So you'll have more couching. And then here's that rose that I did, the other rose that I did. I think it goes this way, like this. So there's the other the double roses. I thought that was pretty with the pink yarn. So these were really fun. And what just something different to do, fun and easy. And then the hardest part is getting your little foot adjusted, and you probably will have to turn the screw just a little bit, because I had to turn it just a little so that it was in the left hand side of that little hole. But once you see it up close and then watch the little video on the machine, it really helped me, because then I could see them actually doing it, and it was just really, it made total sense then how they did it. So okay, so what do you think about the couching? Isn't that fun? And we'll do some of the new stuff in the machine once we get the upgrades kind of out there. One of the things I want to show everybody that was actually in the first upgrade was also the border function. I love this border function. So we'll probably do that pretty soon, because I love that, and it's so much fun. The kit 3, the new upgrade, is going to have an edge-to-edge quilting function also. So I'm anxious to see, because I'm sure it's going to be similar to the border function. So I'm actually really excited to see that also. And then there was something else I wanted to see. Oh, there's some new designs, and they had these long stitch designs in the new upgrade. So those are going to be in this area here. You see, I've got a couple buttons on this that are grayed out. So if you've done the update on your machine, it's 4.03, I think, you'll have some of these little grayed out buttons until you get your upgrades on your machines. Okay, so that's why these are grayed out on the machines. So what do you think about couching? Isn't that fun? I just thought it was so much fun and very easy, and there's a whole bunch of things in there you can play with. So the next thing I'm going to try is see if I can actually do if I can make my own design and do a little simple design with the software and make one that would work like this. So what we'd have to do when we do it in the machine is just make sure we slow it down like we could. So isn't it cool? Yeah, I think it'll be neat, and I think it'll just be something different you can do on different things. And I like the yarn feel. It gives you texture on the stuff. So yeah. So I don't know if Tim's around. Find a couple parts like the card and yarn. Oh yeah. Yeah, so these were probably in a little baggie, Colleen. They would have been in like, there might have been a separate baggie that had some of the, like the thing that goes on the side of your machine, and then this little piece. But this would be down in your little box. So, okay. So I think Tim made it. We're going to have a drawing. So give me a second here and we'll flip the camera back up. He must have been able to hear me. Okay. Find you here. Okay. All right. So Tim's going to do a drawing for people last year.
Hello, everybody. Again, thanks for joining us on Wednesday Live. It's been a little wild here today. We got some stuff in. We're starting to get some product in. Again, bear with us. We're as frustrated as anybody, but we are starting to get product, machines, accessories, upgrades, things like that. So we'll continue to update you on that. Again, we're going to be at the Des Moines Quilt Show in a couple weeks. So stop by and see us at the booth, September 14th through the 17th, I believe. So we'd love to see you. I'd love to chat with you. We always enjoy seeing, especially when we're out and about, and it's always nice to see friendly faces and familiar faces. Secondly, the next couple of weeks, we are going to be kind of a skeleton crew, so bear with us. Things might move a little slower. We're just, we got some things going on, and so we're a little short-staffed. But again, thanks for everything. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for all the good words, and continue to do that. We really appreciate it. So I will go ahead and draw.
Whoops.
And our winner is...
You just could have them on the floor.
Have them on the floor. Hang on. All right. We got Betty Strug. Betty Strug is the new proud owner of a Brother water bottle, as well as I think we have some Shield shirts left out. So come on over, Betty, and pick that up. But again, thanks for coming by and joining us today. And I believe we'll be back again next week. So
I think so, but I haven't decided what we're going to do.
Yes, and also keep in mind we are going to give everybody a little break this weekend, so we will be closed Saturday and Monday for Labor Day holiday. So if you need anything, get it ordered on Friday or before, or pop in beforehand, because we will be gone for a long weekend and nobody wants to run out of stuff to do. So, but
we all have to have lots of
got to have stuff to do. So pop in and get what you need. Have a great weekend. Thanks everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Bye. Have a good week.